G'day, guys. Welcome to our online retailer podcast. Today we've got myself, Dean Salakis. We've got Jethro from the Nile, and also my co-founder here at the retail community. And we've got Rosie from Online Retailer. Welcome, guys.
Hi.
So, we're going to chat a bit today about what to expect at Online Retailer. Great to have you here, Rosie, to give us the inside scoop on what to expect and what's coming.
Delighted
Um,
to be here. Thank you.
Jethro, what are you looking forward to for Online Retailer this year?
Well, I think just before we get into that, we should probably just back up one step and tell people who've never been to online retailer what online retail actually is.
Yeah,
So
sounds good.
this
Yeah, no
is
problem.
this is the largest online retail, digital retail event in the country in Australia each year. Rosie, do you have like thousands? There's just thousands of people coming. I don't know the specific
Yeah,
number, but it's big.
yeah, we have around 4,000 attendees and they come from about 1,500 unique retailers. So anything from, startups right up to the biggest retailers in Australia.
So yeah, give us a bit of a heads up. What can we expect this year in terms of the conference? What are you excited about? Let's just start about what have you guys talked about in terms of putting the conference together, and what are some of the things we can expect?
For sure. So I think a lot of the focus for the show this year is going to be around networking, community, bringing people together in 3D, because so much of our conversations these days are happening online, and it's that real human connection that everyone's missing. So
Yep,
that's
yep.
been at the heart of the agenda. Obviously, you may have heard about AI. It's pretty much everywhere. And whilst it's not an AI focused conference, we'd be remiss to mention that it's going to be probably featured across a lot of things. I think last year, a lot of the agenda was focused around this is what's coming, how are you going to integrate this? And now we've got some really cool case studies of what some of the major retailers have been doing over the last 12 months to help, um, you know, enhance their business and make things better whilst using these new technologies. So,
Yeah, sounds good. I mean, yeah, definitely. I think the two things you mentioned, definitely, talking about in-person and human connection. Obviously, our community started probably because of that situation in people wanting that, human connection to others, and that's where our community is growing out of. But I think also AI has created this, I guess, vacuum of connection as well, which is, I think, there's some great stuff we can talk about at the conference. I'm sure we'll hear about it. I know I'm on a panel, which I'm sure it'll come up, and we'll talk about how, I guess, human connection is sort of becoming a real factor and a differentiator for retailers because I think there is, potentially, I think we're going to see in the future an over indexing of AI as well, and I think it's heaps important.
Amazing. And like you said, community and connection. Like I I'm always astonished at the sheer volume of people we get to talk to at this event. How many new faces we meet. Obviously, a lot of people we know before, but this is by far the biggest, and from that perspective, is amazing. So I think to answer your question, like I'm super excited just to see all the people. That'd be great. I think the topic, obviously AI, and all the conferences we've been to, it's been dominating the conversation and has obviously moved from what we used to call blah 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 AI to actually like tangible tangible stuff now, which is amazing. But also, I think one of the takeaways that we've had from a couple of the last big conferences was that in spite of the fact that all the conversation was about AI, the main takeaway people came away with was the need for human connection. The prevalence of how a store actually plays into it right now, the necessity for a lot of the omni-channel players of what the store does for them. And I'm a pure play guy, so it doesn't affect me, or I don't think so. But I think as a whole, that was kind of the most interesting takeaway that we've had recently, and I suspect it'll be the same here. And so trying to find that bridge between kind of all the amazing stuff we're doing, both through AI online, and then also incorporating it into the store, but then having that human connection where people can sort of experience um, more than just dealing with a machine.
Yeah, and
that's
I
it.
think
And I
on.
think,
Yeah.
sorry, I think the experiential retail for omni-channel players is kind of coming to the forefront now because that's what's going to set companies apart from each other, is not just focusing online where it is just that kind of screen to screen interaction, and it's how can you activate and meet your community in person, which is what makes things interesting. Like the Lullaby Club have just opened their first bricks and mortar retail store in Queensland, which obviously all we hear about most of the time is, things going the other way. Everyone closing down their bricks and mortar stores and just doing everything strictly ecom. But this is a really good opportunity, I think, to see how it's done well and how they really connect with their community. They're actually doing a fireside chat at Online Retailer this year as part of the loyalty
Awesome.
and engagement track. So that'll be a really good session, I think. But they're a really good example of how they've, you know, taken their online community and realize that there's, that connection that's missing, and putting that into their bricks and mortar store, which is great to see.
Yeah, and I think on that component of, on that talk about, human connection and this conference, I think, like Jethro said, the majority of people may not have been to this conference before that may be listening to this podcast. I think we can talk a little bit about what goes on because I think most people that first hear about online retail are probably have a look at the agenda, and that's the first thing they think about. Like, okay, what do I want to listen to any of this stuff? Where the conference is so much more than that. It's the events that go around it, which we'll talk about. We've got some stuff going on. It's the expo floor. I mean, that's not just a place where you might be scared of being pitched. I mean, I think it's a place where you can educate yourself on the retail ecosystem. So there's side events, there's places to catch up with people, there's networking to happen. It's not just about the content. However, let's just start on the content before, and we can talk about the other stuff that goes on around the conference. Tell us a bit about what we can expect from the content.
Sure. So we've got the mornings are workshops. So we've got free to attend workshops. We've got our AI workshops, which last year was standing room only, which are a lot more hands-on and practical around, different workflows, different ways that businesses have built agents and that kind of thing, and the results that they've had from them. And because we're 12 months on from the last set of results, we'll have even better case studies and kind of ideas, especially given that AI last week is out of date even, never mind last year.
Yeah.
So things have changed a lot. We've also got our tech talks, which is back-to-back vendor presentations, but they've evolved over the years, where we used to just have the vendors presenting and it was slightly pitchy. We now have a lot of the vendors opting to bring their retail customers. So a lot of them are doing fireside chats or panels with their own customers. So it's actually really valuable information and great conversations that will be happening on there. We've got our SMB stage, which is all retailers. So it's just back-to-back retail content, loads of great, smaller brands that are up and coming, doing interesting things. That's going to be really cool. And so all of that's included in the free Expo Pass. So we try and give as much value as
Oh,
we can
cool.
to, the 3,500 people that don't purchase a conference ticket or, get a conference ticket. And we've also got our live podcast, which we record with Nora. There's some great sessions being recorded on there as well. They're just finalizing that agenda. So that'll be really good. And then with the main agenda, there's a few sessions that I'm really looking forward to. So Dr. Katrina Wallace, who is from Shark Tank, she has a session on day one in the afternoon around AI, of course, which I think is going to be really good. I mean, she's such a thought leader and has been doing this for such a long time. It's great to hear from someone that's obviously within retail, but has that kind of overarching perspective. So that's going to be a great session. The Lullaby Club session as well. I mean, I just love their content. I don't know if you follow them on TikTok and
You
Instagram, but
sound like
it's
you're a big
like,
fan of that one. It sounds like
I
one we've got to get
honestly,
to.
they are hilarious. They are absolutely hilarious. They just reenacted, the guy, that the Chinese meal guy that was like the viral guy from a few years ago, and he's getting into the car. They just reenacted that. They're so clever. It's great, and they just don't take themselves too seriously. So yeah, I appreciate them. And then we've obviously got our B2B conference as well. And what we're finding, arguably, is that a lot of B2B is about 5 or so years behind B2C in Australia. And, the retailers don't even class themselves as retailers. They think e-commerce is a website some of the time. So it's, trying to tailor some of the D2C content that would fit a B2B audience. My other vertical, um, Read Exhibitions, RX Global, is professional beauty. And I know that a lot of my clients are really looking forward to attending the B2B conference. We've actually got a panel which is all D2C brands talking about learnings that can be carried across into B2B. So there's some really good, actionable kind of takeaways that will be coming out of that conference. That's going to be really good. Yeah, there's a lot. We have so much content. It's just wild. And people say to me, "Oh, what's happening with this session?" I'm like, which stage, what is?" It's just, I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
there's just hundreds of hours worth of content at any one time. So it's great.
yeah, awesome. And I guess, yeah, so in terms of if you were to pick, obviously Lullaby Club, I think sounds like it's one of your favorites, but if you were to pick three, which three sessions should someone, you
That's a
know,
great question.
get to see if you were to pick them?
Okay, so this isn't one session, but we're doing something new for this year, which is our startup spotlight. So we've always been very clear with all of our vendors that this is not a demo, this is not an opportunity for you to pitch. This is please give some value, case study, panel, that kind of thing. And if you do want to do a keynote, it should be, you know, more theory than anything else. But we've actually noticed that there is a gap, and some people do really just want to see a demo. So we're giving our startups or our early stage businesses an opportunity to showcase their demos in one of our workshop theatres in the mornings. So there's going to be some really interesting sessions within there that people won't have seen from these companies before. And I think with some of the larger tech companies um, growing larger, let's just say. We obviously, it's really great to have all these smaller companies, and we want to kind of avoid over homogenization of the industry and keep these cool tech businesses afloat. So yeah, I think some of the startup sessions in there are going to be really good. So Humi, obviously, if you're into CX, as everyone should be, that's going to be a
Mm.
really great session within there. And we've also got another company, a CRO company that are coming over from the US called Moonshot, who will be delivering a really good session there as well. So that's really cool. So I think that one definitely Katrina Wallace, and then that session that I mentioned, the B2B to B B2C to B2B. Oh my God, that's a lot of words. But yeah, I think
There's
that
so
session's
many,
going to be
yeah,
really
there's
good.
B and C's, a few different combinations.
That's it. That's it. Exactly.
Um, yeah, and I guess you probably upset the guys you didn't mention now, so we really put you in it there, I think.
No, those ones have just paid me. That's the difference.
Oh,
No, they
awesome,
haven't.
awesome. And I guess like around the conference, well, let's talk the expo floor. I mean, maybe I'm a little, maybe not your typical customer at your conference, but I love getting around the expo floor. It's something I do at all conferences, and I really enjoy, you know, surprisingly asking people what they do and learning about what that is because you never know in future when you're going to need them.
Mm.
Is there anything interesting happening on the expo floor this year that you can talk to us about? Or
Yeah,
I
there's a
think you
lot.
mentioned Nora's got a podcast happening. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah. So we record the podcast live with them. We've been doing that for a few years now, so
Yeah.
that'll be really good. That's right in the center of the floor, so it provides quite a good little hub. We've got quite a lot of logistics and last mile providers, which is great because I think what can't be replaced by AI currently is your last mile, and a lot of retailers are needing to diversify their offering when it comes to
Mm.
delivery. So that's quite good. We've got some companies there that we've not seen. Obviously, we've got a lot of the major players, Klaviyo, Yotpo, um, Reviews, the full cast, but there's definitely a lot of smaller businesses that are quite cool. So
Yeah.
one thing I would say is, get around and have a chat with these businesses. Don't just assume, oh, I've not heard of them before, so they're going to pitch to me. I think get around and have conversations and actually allow people to explain, not pitching per se or not pitching too hard, but that at the end of the day, they are there to sell. Um, but just try and build some relationships because there's so many interesting things happening, and everyone has customers that could be a partner for you. So there's opportunities outside of just watching someone's demonstration. So I think give people the time of day to explain what their tech does.
I'm going to jump in there for a second. I think what's going to be really interesting is how many new faces we see amongst the vendor stands. Because I shared a report today. The number of AI-based companies that's led to new company formations is like up 50, 60%
Mm,
overall. So like the sheer volume of companies being formed. You
yeah,
mentioned Moonshot. I remember meeting them a couple of years ago at Shop Talk, and like what they're doing is amazing. Like it's
hmm
really really interesting stuff. It sort of turns CRO completely on its head, where previously agencies were coming along and sort of doing a series of tests. These guys set it up and it just runs indefinitely. It's like I suspect we will see that across every single vertical. And so I'm really interested to see how many more new faces we see who've come up with these very AI native solutions to problems, specific problems that retailers have got. Um, so
that's it.
there's a lead
Yeah,
into the lead to cover off all the others that we haven't mentioned today, so they don't get too upset.
yeah, I know.
What about tips, guys? I mean, Jethro, you're a veteran like myself. I think you and I have probably been to every single online retailer there's ever been. And
Mm.
Rosie, you've got the inside scoop. Like, what can we tell newcomers how to navigate this conference? What's some tips for them?
Do you want me to go?
Yeah, go for it.
Sure. Um, I would say if you can, don't come alone. Obviously, there's loads of opportunity for you to meet other people there, but if you can come with different people within your team, there's something there for everyone. So, from a content perspective, yes, there's all types of different vendors, but we really do represent the entire ecosystem. So, your heads of e-commerce, your heads of marketing, digital, CX, your operations, warehousing, CFO, there's something there for everyone. So, if you can try and take it as a team outing, essentially, there will be something there and there will be some value for you. So I think definitely come um, register more people if you possibly can. Um, and then also something that I don't know whether everyone knows that we do, but we have something which we call collect. So every exhibitor has a QR code, which is essentially it's like two-way lead generation. So let's say I go to Jethro's booth and him and all of his team are all busy chatting, but I really do want to speak to him. I would just scan the QR code that'll be displayed on his booth, and then he'll get me as a contact to follow up with. And so it's kind of a two-way street in that, if you don't have a chance or if you're time poor running into a session and you really want to have a conversation with someone down the track, you can still get them to follow
Oh,
up with you.
cool.
So yeah, I think that's a cool thing that not everyone knows about.
That's a great feature. I mean, I've walked past stands before and they've all been chatting. I'm like, I don't have all day to wait here for them. It'd
That's
be
it.
great to be able to scan a code and follow up later.
I'll just jump in on the first point that Rosie made, which is a great one, which is also to mention the way that the cost structure works. This is a bit different to most conferences in that the retailers essentially can come for free. I think there's a nominal charge per head, or if they, I think through our group through our WhatsApp group we've got a discount on that to where it's virtually nothing. But there's really no cost in a
It's free,
retailer
free,
bringing in
Jethro. It's free.
free.
It's
Oh,
free.
there,
Yeah,
there you go.
yeah.
That's always a
Literally
good
no
number.
cost.
It's free. It's free if you use the code from our group. Yeah. If
Yeah,
you
yeah.
use otherwise it's $50
So as
otherwise.
long as they join the WhatsApp group, which is basically going to be the connective tissue in the whole conference, then it's free. But to that point, like there's no other than timeout. There's no reason not to bring as many members of your team as you can. And to Rosie's point, I think there's something for everyone. It's really like whether it's seeing the vendors, going to one of the workshops, whatever. I don't think I've ever seen any downside in bringing people along.
I mean, I would say a tip would be plan the conference. So I would say on the lead up, have a look at the agenda, work out the section, the topics that you just can't miss, um, and note them in your calendar. Because I think you're going to get caught up. There's just a lot. There's a lot to do. You're going to be busier than you expect when you go to this event, and you're going to get caught up in conversations, and you might miss out on some good stuff. So I'd say definitely note in your calendar and have a plan. And ideally, if you've got a business problem, come armed to explore it. Have an open mind. Come to the conference to soak in the knowledge that's there. I think that's another opportunity. Like I used to go to these conferences every year with a particular thing, whether I was replatforming or looking for email marketing or whatever it is, I'd go there with on a mission. Um, and you can have conversations with people about it, which is great. You can point you in the right direction. So you might say, I'm looking at replatforming, and they'd say, oh, I just replatformed 6 months ago, and you'd be able to get the down low on what they went through. And usually it's painful, but you'd be able to get information that helps you. So I found every time I go to a conference, I'd have a plan is the key one.
That's
I
it.
think as well as that, I think it's also a good opportunity to kind of meet with a bunch of your existing vendors. So I'll often find that it'll be an opportunity to have a touch point with whatever number, like it could be half a dozen or a dozen different people who we do business with already, and we don't necessarily have the opportunity to speak to face because it just doesn't come up. And then you get this opportunity by being there. So a lot of the time, in that situation, you can reach out to them in advance and set up a time, and you just know everybody's going to be there in the space. So it's a great, very efficient way to use your time to have those meetings without any sort of substantive agenda required.
Totally. And I think the industry is so interconnected that, if you meet with one of your existing suppliers and then you have a problem or something that you're interested in, or you're comparing different providers for something, they will have connections. So they can introduce you to their partners or, point you in the right direction. And, you know, people know each other really. Everyone knows each other in this industry, but from that side, it's great for problem solving. If you've got a good reputable business and you work around, then people will be able to refer people to you, which is great. And Dean, to your point with the sessions, and you can actually go into our mobile optimized link for our agenda, and you can heart different sessions and also exhibitors, so you can map your whole expo attendance. So yes, you can add them to your calendar, but you can also track them through the website.
Yeah, nice.
That's cool. I think your point around everybody knowing everybody is a great segue. Dean, why don't you tell us what we're doing
Yeah,
in
well,
connection with this?
we'll talk about what's going on around the conference. I think just as a first port of call, I would say there's a what's on page on the online retailer website where you can check out what's happening around the conference. Because as we talked about earlier, this conference is more than just content. But thanks, Jethro, for the segue into the fact that we're obviously probably the two biggest things that we should talk about is on night one we're running a massive event at Cargo Bar for the retail community, and everyone's invited. And then on night two is the Aureas, which is arguably the biggest night on the retail agenda for the year. So let's talk about our event first, because this is why we're here. But yeah, obviously we're running an event on on day one after the conference finishes. So when day one finishes, what happened last year was a big migration happened from the conference hall to Cargo Bar, and I would say we had quite a queue out the front. We'll solve that this year with a few more bodies at the door to help people get in quicker. But we had, obviously have a lot of people come. We had 600 people last year come through our event, so it's quite a sizable event. It's a networking event. We've got food, drinks, all on the house. We've got a bunch of sponsors that have got involved to help us. So, I guess probably should give them a quick shout out. Thanks to our sponsors for getting involved in our event. That we couldn't have really done it without them. We've got companies like Starship that's involved, Wayflyer, Athos Commerce, Digital, Parcel Protect, Loop, Hello Clever, iMile, Wonderkin, Next 3PL, and Reach. So as you can see, there's a lot there, which means they've paid for drinks all night. Well, not all night, till most of the night, and then they've paid for food. We've paid for entertainment. So we've got a saxophonist coming who came last year and just tore it up, and everyone had a great time and hit the dance floor. So I'm really looking forward to that night. We do have some big news to drop about the night, which we can't let the cat out of the bag just yet because the details aren't fully formed, but there's some fun stuff to come for the night that we'll announce. So get registered and get registered. It's free for retailers. Service providers have to pay a fee to come along, but retailers it's free. So register and come along. It's going to be a good night.
For sure.
Jethro, are
We've
you
also
looking
got an
forward?
event
Yeah.
the night before
Oh, yep.
with Thread Together, which is with Add to Cart. So that's
Yeah,
called
nice.
Good Sorts, and that's going to be in Alexandria as well. So that's also free for retailers.
Yeah, cool. And that's a charity event as
And
well.
It is.
all the details are on the what's on page, right? On the online retail page. Yeah.
We're very
Yep.
excited for your party as well.
Yeah, I can't wait to have a good time that night. It'll be a good chance for everyone to just relax and have a chat. I think that's the idea of it, and everyone can catch up and do some networking because the day does get quite hectic. So it's really just a good chance to catch up with everyone after the conference. And I'd say it's similar for the Aureas, which is on the last night, which is, um, you know, like I said, it is the biggest night on the retailer calendar, and I'd say our night is the second biggest night on the retail calendar that we've got on the first night. So, you just don't want to miss the events that are happening after the conference. The Aureas is just, if you haven't been before, it's an awesome night. It's the
It's
awards
the Oscars,
night.
right? It's the Oscars of the
It's
event
the Oscars,
of the
yeah.
online retail community. Yeah.
And it's a
That's
who's
it.
who, all it's just such a great audience there. You've got a bunch of great people, black tie event. So everyone gets dressed up and looks pretty nice and has a good time. And yeah, really looking forward to it. Last year I had a good time. You can see in the background I got my Aureas award, sneaky
Here's one I
little.
prepared earlier.
Here's what I said earlier. Snuck that in the background.
I'm surprised that's not like right next to your head.
So I'm not biased. I had a good time. I had a good time. So yeah, so looking forward to this year. Jethro's a finalist in a couple of categories, so fingers crossed for Jethro. But there's so many great finalists up there and so many great awards that just, I mean, with an awards night, it's just such a celebration of the industry. I can't understate it. Like, there's been so many times where I've been a finalist and didn't win, and to be honest, I still had a great time. And everyone who's a finalist is a winner. You're one of the best if you're a finalist. So I think that's really exciting just to get amongst those guys and have a chat with some of the industry's best. It's a really great night. So Rosie, can you just tell us a bit about like after the conference, if you were to pick one thing that you'd want people to be talking about after the show, what would you want them to be saying?
I would really like people to be talking about how many new tech companies and solution providers they met at the show, because I think it's so important for the future of the industry from the tech side that everyone really supports these new niche technologies that are, if you can speak to people and within the business at any time they want to take your business, and if you give them an idea, they'll be able to run with it. And I think stuff like that's really cool. So I would love for these newer companies to have some of the light shone on them. And I can't name them all because I'm going to forget someone and then everyone's
Yeah,
going to
no,
be
I'm
upset.
looking forward to. I can't wait to get around the expo floor and meet some of these guys and see what the new solutions are. I'm sure there's some cool stuff happening, particularly with AI now. I think technology is moving faster than it's ever moved before. So really looking forward to it. Thanks, Rosie. Thanks for sharing with us a bit behind the scenes about what's coming. I'm really looking forward to getting together
Thank
at the
you.
conference and seeing you guys in 3D. And I think it's going to be a great event. So really looking forward to it.